Hey guys, Kevin here of Call Center Training Tips. I'm doing a live video on how to um, pass call center screenings. And last week, I came across this tip on how to pass Berlitz audio exam. So if you haven't already, there are different call center job application stages. So the first one you're likely to go through would be an online application. Another one, let me just type something. Yeah, I should get myself one of these things to hold my phone. Anyway, so if you go to a call center, there are different job application stages, and when you go through the job application stages, other people are going to do well in some stages, and some people won't do very well in other stages, and that's a normal thing. But your main goal is to learn what stage you're bad at so you can be good at it later on. Usually you're bad at something because you're making a mistake, and when you figure out that mistake, you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, so you're likely going to go through online application. You're going to have a phone interview. You're going to have to submit your resume to the front desk. You're gonna fill out this paper application form. You're gonna fill out a computerized application form. Oh, hi Angel. Send me a message. Send me your email on the messages, not through here. So yeah. And then you're gonna go through the initial interview. You're gonna take an exam. You're gonna take depending on what position you're gonna apply in, you're gonna take a customer service interview or a sales interview or a tech support interview, and those interviews will have call simulation. You're gonna pretend that you're on a call, and depending on what kind of account you'll be in, you'll be doing an interview based on that, or you're gonna try it out. And then obviously you're gonna go through a final interview, and then there's a contract signing, and then after you get hired, after the contract signing, you're gonna go through an accent neutralization training. What usually happens there is you're going to be they're gonna teach you how to speak in English properly. They're gonna try and improve how you speak. This process is usually 1 week. Some companies do it for 2 weeks. And then you're gonna go for product training, where they're going to teach you about the account. They're gonna teach you about the product you're selling or supporting. And then you're going to begin working on the production floor. So that means that you're going to start working already. And then if you pass that stage, you're going to work on getting regularized. So that process may take anywhere between 3 and 6 months. Now that I've given you a background on these parts of the process, so I'm going to give you a few tips on how to do it better. Remember that each stage will... can you hear me properly, by the way? If you're watching, just hit a like or whatever. Just say a message. I can hear you. Because I'm just testing out the new microphone, wireless microphone. I used to use a wired headset, and I don't know if this is better. Yeah. I hope you can hear me. So yeah, each of the stages are opportunities to pass. and each of the stages are also opportunities for them to fail you. So if you fail, then you're gonna need to try again. All right. So online application. What do you need to remember about the online application? The first one you need to remember is that you need to have a well-written resume. You need to make sure that there are no errors in the way you write it. Make sure that it has a proper email address. Proper email address should always have your name. So my email address is kevinolega@gmail.com. That's it. So just your name, first name, last name. No sexy. It's not sexy Kevin Olega at gmail.com. So you don't add that word. You don't add any weird words or any non-professional words. Just put your name, your first name, your last name, and that's it. So that your make sure that your resume has your contact information. So your phone number, if you have a landline at home, that's preferable. If you don't have one, just just make sure that you have your cell phone number. Make sure you have your email address, and yeah, that's very important. The other important detail on your online application is that your resume shouldn't have hello there. Your resume shouldn't have like spelling mistakes. You shouldn't have grammar errors. Make sure that it's written properly. Okay, so after the online application, you submit your resume through the company's website. You're going to go through a phone interview. When you go through a phone interview, you have to make sure that you have to make sure that when you answer the phone, you answer it professionally. So if it's just a phone number that you don't recognize, just say hello. You don't and when you're gonna ask them who they are, just ask them, may I know who this is, instead of saying sino to, or just be polite. If you're sending out your resume, just be polite when you answer your phone, and make sure that you go to a spot that's not noisy, like where there's no tricycle, there's no like loud TV or loud radio. If you're playing the radio, like keep it down. Also, if you're applying for work, tell your family that you're applying for work. So if you receive a call, you might be interviewed on the spot, you'll need to turn down the TV or turn down the radio or turn down whatever that's causing noise. And like just ask people to be quiet so you can hear your interviewer and you can answer the questions properly. Okay? So if you pass the phone interview, well, the questions are basic. They're gonna ask you about you. Tell me about yourself. So if you've read the blog, you should have enough information about how to tell them about yourself, because that's what I've been teaching on the Facebook page and on the website. So if you haven't already, please visit the website. It has over 200 lessons, so you can go through them one by one. You can read it, it's all free. You can learn a lot from it. So okay, so after you pass the phone interview, you'll be invited to go to the call center office. And when you go to the call center office, you're gonna submit your resume to the front desk. And when you submit your resume to the front desk, sometimes it's like a front desk officer, like those pretty receptionists. Sometimes it's a security guard. You have to be polite to these people, because if you are not polite to these people, they're not going to endorse you to the next step. So that's practically the first stage of your screening. So you just tell them that, hi, I'm here to apply, and I got a call from, like, if you already did your phone interview, just tell them that name of the person who interviewed you over the phone, and you're supposed to be processed for a job application. Just tell them that you're there for that, and they'll be assisting you. Also, usually when you submit a resume, it doesn't really require a photo, but if you have a like, you're not required to add a photo, but usually the front desk people ask for it, and to be honest, it makes it easy. It makes it easy for them to identify you and to call you out because they don't know what you look like. So it would be good that you print your resume with your photo in it, just to make it convenient. So you don't need to worry about discrimination or something like that. We're in the Philippines, so it's not really an issue. But I have to be honest, if you look good on your photo, and it might be your recruiter might find you attractive, that's an additional point, fortunately and unfortunately. So make sure that to have a nice photo on your resume. That helps a lot. But well, the photo won't really save you. If your English isn't that good, you're not gonna get hired. So make sure that you practice your English. Make sure you have a nice photo. You make sure you have a nice resume. Make sure that you have a nice everything. Make sure that you're showing up to your interview looking professional, so you're not dressed like a homeless person or something like that. So for men, it should be like slacks and a collared shirt, not a regular t-shirt, not like this one. I came from the gym, so I'm just wearing a shirt. So okay, so when you get to the call center, when you get to the call center site, you will either be filling out a paper application form or a computerized application form. Sometimes you're going to do both. When you fill out the paper application form, make sure that you write legibly. When you fill out the computerized application form, make sure that you read the instructions and fill in the details. Based on experience, when you go to Convergys, it's a computerized application form. Some smaller companies will require you to fill out the paper application form. It's just like a biodata or something like that. But just fill it in, and they're going to discuss that on your interview. Okay, so next step is, when you fill in your paper application form, just make sure that you have all the details. So when you go to the blog, I have tips on how to write your resume, and I recommended that you remove things from your resume to make it shorter, to make it look more professional. However, those details are also important because sometimes those details appear in the paper application form, or the computerized application form. For example, sometimes they ask about what's your mother's name, what's your father's name, what's their job. Sometimes they ask about your references, and sometimes they also ask for referrals, like if you know other people who would also like to work in that call center, you can put their contact name and contact information. So make sure that you read it properly. So references are people who can say that you're like a good person, or like you'd make a good employee. So it could be a former boss, or like someone who knows you, like a family friend, or maybe your college professor. That helps. And then the referrals are people that you can refer to the call center, because call center companies are always hiring. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we talk about the initial interview a lot on my blog, on my live videos, on the training that I do. So just make sure you have an answer to the questions. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why do you want to work in a call center? If you want more details about that, just visit the blog and you'll be able to have an idea on how to compose your answers. It's really important that you compose your own answers, you write it down, and you practice it instead of just copying answers on the internet. Because if one important detail that you need to remember is that the interviewer interviewing you is an intelligent person, and they talk to hundreds of people a day, and they know if a person just read an answer from the internet, like wait, let me Google that and give you an example. So why should I hire you? Oh yeah, another tip. If you have any time, just do some, just do a Google search, do a typing test so you know what your typing speed is. It's really important. When I started, my typing speed was around 15 words per minute. But since I've been doing a lot of writing on the computer and blogging, writing stories and writing these lessons, I can now type somewhere between 40 and I think 60 words per minute. So yeah, that's an advantage when you when you try to look for work. Okay. Wait, why should I hire you? Answer. So yeah, it looks like they updated the lesson to the why should I hire you. It's now teaching you how to compose an answer because yeah, a lot of people, they just go look at samples, and samples can be something like um, yeah, like here's an example, like based on the research I've done, your company is looking for a skilled communicator and experienced marketer to grow your business and help your company stand out from the competition. And this interview answer sucks because you're just copying, and since these interviewers already talk to people on a regular basis, they'll know that you copied your answer because they've heard this before. So make sure that you're not copying someone else's answer. Um, yeah, just make sure that you write your own answer. Make sure that when you write down your answer to the questions, tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why should I hire you? Make sure that you think about it carefully, and after thinking about it carefully, It's also important to check for grammar grammar mistakes. Make sure that your pronunciation is correct. Make sure that you can say it properly. You're not like thinking of an answer on the spot. You need to show them that you are ready when they hire you. Um, okay, so yeah, that's the important thing. And if you get hired, make sure that you show up to work on time and make sure that you're not absent. Like those are the really important details when you get hired in a call center. So if you have any questions, just like leave a message here and I'll do my best to answer. Right, let me just. And when you encounter this Berlitz audio exam, so a lot of people, they say that they fail in the Versant or in the Berlitz or in the whatever exam. Usually these computerized exams require you to put on a headset, and after putting on a headset, you just answer the questions that are on the computer. In some cases, it's the headset is just listening to you talk. In some cases, you have to press record, and you should be paying attention so you'll be able to follow instructions. And so make sure you're because there are a lot of tips that you should like recite lyrics. Um, you're not in a recording studio. Do not recite any lyrics to a song. Do not recite a prayer. Do not reread the prompt, or just read the instructions or listen to the instructions and follow the instructions. Make sure that you give relevant answers to what to what the question is or what the instructions are. So if it asks you to tell them a story about the color of your shirt or something like that, then think of something and tell them something. If you can't think of anything, tell them that you got their question and you're thinking of an answer, and then compose and tell them what you're thinking. And just in a lot of these tests, you are being evaluated by number one, the computer. The computer is checking for your voice quality. Do you speak loud and clear when you talk? And number two, do you are you intelligent with how you answer? Did you think about it? Are you paying attention? Because that's not being evaluated by a computer. That's being evaluated by the recruitment people. So you need to make sure that you have all these details considered when you take these call center tests. So these tests are intended to measure your English speaking abilities. So it's not. So yeah, the main goal is to just pay attention. Make sure you get a lot of sleep before you go to your interview, so you have the mental capacity to listen and to do things that you're supposed to do so you can pass. All right. And another tip that I've encountered is a lot of applicants are told not to open any website or computer folders while taking the test, and some people still do. That means that you're not able to follow instructions, and that's really important. If they tell you that just use this program, just use this program, don't use any other program. All right. And like if you're already hired in a call center, I just want to give you some tips. Like, this is the most important tip I think that I have. So when I'm not sure if you're following like call center Buhay Bayaning Puyat or something like that. Like those sites, they give jokes. Like one joke that I encounter a lot is that like you're about to log out from your job and then you encounter this call that took you very long. So yeah, you had to stay longer and not log out or something like that. Or sometimes you're almost done and then you get a bad customer, an angry customer or something like that, or you get a very difficult call. The customer's upset and asking for a supervisor. Now my tip is that you need to get excited with all these difficult calls, and you should learn from each one. And because if you do, your call center life will be easy. Angry customers are opportunities for positive customer feedback. These angry customers are opportunities for sales, for commendations, and sometimes just fun conversations. Most issues can be resolved by working on your English skills. And like if your English skills are really good, it makes things a lot easier, like 100% easier. And then you can ask the right questions, you can master phrasing what you want to say in a positive way. You can listen to your customers carefully and make sure that you don't butt in. Especially when you're dealing with company policy. If your customer's telling you something and you already know what they're gonna ask you for, and then you butt in and then you tell them I can't, or I'm sorry I can't, or something like that, you interrupt them. That's very disrespectful and that's very upsetting to customers. So instead of butting in with an I can't, let them finish what they're saying, and don't give them the expression that, oh, you know about this already. Like, don't try to be a know-it-all, and let them finish and acknowledge what they're trying to do, and then you offer a solution. So the bad customer service is when you talk to you talk to a company representative and then they just ignore you, and then they just say hindi pwede. When you say hindi pwede, you have to have a solution. Like, if they ask you for something that you can't do, you always have to have like a backup plan. Like, I can't do this for you, but I can do this instead. So that's a really important detail. So whenever it's all a matter of knowledge about your account, like what service your company is offering. So if you can't do something for the customer, let's say your customer is asking you to lower their bill, maybe you could give them a different offer that you can't lower their bill, but you can give them something where they can get better value for what they're paying. So that's an alternative, right? So maybe you could upgrade them to a higher whatever it is that you're offering. Okay, so and it's always important to remember that when a customer raises their voice, they're never angry at you. They're just really emotional about getting the issue resolved. And that's how it is when things are important to you. So when things are important to you, emotions come into play. So if they raise their voice, if they're angry, they're never angry at you. They're just trying to get something fixed. They're trying to get an issue resolved. Your job is to help them fix this problem with the best of your abilities. That's the reason why you get paid $400 a month or maybe $500 a month in a call center. You're not making minimum wage because you are there to solve problems for someone. All right. So anyone can do this. Anyone can learn this. You might wanna listen to this video again, or I'll post this on the website. So as long as you're humble and you aim low enough, just try to improve little by little. Like just try to solve one problem every day. Just learn how to say something better every day. And if you aim low enough and then slowly aim a little higher as you become more successful, you'll be able to do it. You know, when I started, I was a problem agent. You know, my supervisor told me, like, showed me an email that their bosses are recommending me for termination. And then after learning a few techniques from him, I became top agent twice. I became super agent in like the whole site once. And I've been a consistent recipient of the customer service feedback incentives. So customers tell the company that they like my service, and I get paid extra for that. I also get like sales incentives, like angry customers buy stuff from me because they like how I handle the call. And you know, your call center job, it's very special, and there aren't many jobs that pay over $400 a month or $500 a month. So don't take it lightly. Like, it's not an opportunity. Like, a lot of people, they pass HRM or they pass nursing, and then they go to their jobs and then they complain about how low the pay is. Like, I know a lot of people who tell me about how low the pay is outside of the BPO. And yeah, I get it. And some people, they're already working in a BPO and they're throwing away their opportunities, and I hope you're not that kind of person. You know, if you play your cards right, that $400, $500 a month, if you save money, that's 1.7 million pesos in 5 years. And then afterwards, you can go after your dream job or your dream business or something like that. Now, the only people who fail at call center work are the people who are either incredibly ungrateful or people with a rotten attitude. So I hope you're not that kind of person. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're not, but if you are, you better fix that. Now, if you want more tips, if you have any questions, just leave a comment, send me a message. I'll do my best to answer when I'm logged in. And thanks for watching. Like, I hope you guys have a great evening, morning, or whatever. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.